Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to chapel. We're so glad that you're here, joining us either in person or online. Know that you are welcome here, whoever you are, whoever you know yourself to be, whoever you are becoming. After this week, we have only 2 more weeks of chapel for this year, which is a little mind-boggling to think about. But in these next couple weeks, we actually have a number of special things happening during chapel break and beyond. So I'm going to give you the quick rundown and then a word of assurance. So the quick rundown, here we go. We are back here like normal on Friday, featuring Olivia Helland as our speaker and Nordic Choir as our special music. This upcoming Monday, Fika is on the move, not very far, just around the corner to the Valders side entrance to the CFL. There will be treats, extra special treats, and we will be joining in a brief service of dedication for the multi-faith meditation room during that time as well. Next Wednesday, chapel is again normal in here. We will feature Brian Nickel as our speaker and Collegiate Chorale as our music. Next Friday, like a week from Friday, there is no chapel, because there is no class, because it is learning at Luther, and so you should go and support your friends who are presenting and showing posters, and if you are participating in that and you would like us to know about it, we would love to make the rounds and support you as well. So let our office know if you have a presentation, and we will put it on our list. Then the following week, Monday, May 6th, the last kind of Monday of classes, will be our last Fika of the year, and that one will also be on the move, this time to the bike racks in front of the library, where we will be doing Fika plus a blessing of bicycles to celebrate spring. While you're adding things to your calendar, also make plans to join us on Sunday, May 12th at 10 a.m. here in the CFL for an end-of-year celebration worship service. This will round out Happiness Week, some great music, lots of good stuff, and bonus ice cream treats following worship. So come for the worship, stay for the ice cream. Now here's the good news. Here's your reassurance. You do not have to commit all of this to memory. We're going to be very soon putting up our May chapel posters around campus, and all of this info is on those posters, and you know that you can always find info on our social media as well. So you don't have to remember it, you just have to remember to look for it. Now, turning our attention back to the present moment, you'll need a purple hymnal for our opening hymn today, so grab one from the rack if you don't yet have one. Today we are excited to feature, I think this semester it is our last senior speaker, Anna Beaverson. We're so grateful for you and your words today, and we are also so very grateful for the musical gifts that you've already heard and will hear again being offered by the Luther Ringers. Dear ones, we are so happy that you have joined us here today. I invite you to stand now as you are comfortable and able as we prepare our hearts for worship. Especially in these last stressful weeks of the semester, I invite you in this next moment really to focus on taking some deep breaths, and with each exhale, encourage your body to release and relax. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your arms hang heavy. Feel your body relying on the strength of the earth beneath your feet. Breathe and take a moment of quiet to find your center. God of the galaxy, you have created this world, one tiny reflection of your creativity and goodness in the midst of an infinite and mysterious universe. Empower us to seek justice for neighbors and for creation. Teach us to love mercy for all people and all creatures. Lead us in paths of humility, service, and reverence. Stir our hearts by your renewing and creating spirit, now and through all our days. Amen. Our gathering hymn this morning is number 1064, Earth is Full of Wit and Wisdom, number 1064.
Hello. I would like to thank Pastor Melissa and Mandy for giving me the opportunity to speak today and for everybody coming here to listen. Recently, in one of my classes, a professor brought up Mr. Rogers, the beloved children's television show host known for saying exceedingly comforting lines like, "Listening is where love begins, listening to ourselves and then to others. And the world needs a sense of worth, and it will achieve it only by its people feeling that they are worthwhile." And lastly, the famous closing line of his show, "I like you just the way you are." That line, "I like you just the way you are," was the line that my professor mentioned in class. He talked about how sentimental it made him, how it made him feel legitimately special. A glance around the room confirmed that my professor was not alone in that feeling. So many of us deeply resonate with the profoundly kind yet simple remarks of Mr. Rogers. Even the most steely-hearted among us melt at the earnestness of his sincerity. Whether you identify as Gen X, Millennial, or Gen Z, you most likely grew up hearing his words, either on air or in rerun form, and were enveloped in their warmth and compassion as you sat on the couch on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. Somehow the world would feel okay during that brief 30-minute intermission from reality, regardless of all that was going on around you or in your life. Yet as we grow up, we start to believe in the truth of his words less and less. I wonder why this is the case. Why do we stop believing in the goodness of ourselves and others? Why do we feel like compliments or statements of praise or validation are loosely veiled lies, told to us by others in order to keep the social peace and maintain our relationships? How did we, the generations who grew up watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, become so cynical? One reason as to why I believe we stop seeing the goodness, capability, and intelligence in ourselves and others has to do with the notion of logic. A quick Google search for the definition of the word logic will tell you that it means reasoning conducted or assessed according to strict principles of validity. One walks away from such a definition with the internal sensation that some ideas, things, paths, values, and beliefs are right, and that others are wrong. To me, it feels as though logic is embedded into our social fabric through strict conceptions of normative typical behaviors, beliefs, and decisions. We often come to describe our behaviors or the behaviors of others as either logical or illogical, according to these external social codes grounded in rationality and reason. These social codes are emblematic of a learned cultural framework devised to enhance our understanding of our ever-increasingly complex societies and our role within them. With such an inner working model for comprehending our world can be helpful, especially when we feel lost and uncertain in regard to our lives and decisions, the manner in which we gather evidence for logical decisions is often flawed. The term social proof explains the human phenomenon of looking at the actions of the majority, seeing what others are doing as a means of making a decision for ourselves when we feel uncertain. We trust socially normative decisions more than our own intuition about what feels right for ourselves. In part, I feel as though this lack of self-trust is a product of our abundant awareness of our personal flaws, mistakes, and historical failings. With this self-deprecating blame narrative in mind, some, if not all of us, often minimize the effects of situations in producing unwanted or poor outcomes and overestimate the influence of our perceived personal shortcomings in instances resulting in undesirable outcomes. While yes, sometimes and often we need to take accountability for our failures and mistakes, it must also be noted that we are not inherently flawed beings, unworthy and incapable of developing self-trust. It would appear that our reliance on logic when facing uncertainty and challenge in life resembles a similar longing for that sense of comfort and familiarity we felt while watching Mr. Rogers. Yet logic is merely an illusion of reassurance, familiarity, and stability. Logic, then, should be viewed as a flawed mechanism for decision-making, rooted in the ill-fated intentions of social proof and norms, which exist to reduce social friction. So if logic is not the tool we should employ in our decision-making processes, then what is, or what at least can we use to replace logic if we want to make decisions that are grounded in self-trust and aligned with our personal values? In addressing these somewhat grandiose questions, there is much to be said for the logic of uncertainty. The logic of uncertainty promotes a general impression that there is no concrete conception of truth, right and wrong. Absolute certainty, either in yourself or in others, is an illusion. While the logic of uncertainty has its roots in theological and philosophical thought, I will be examining it through a literal, common, and everyday conception of utilizing uncertainty as a tool for countering the influence of traditional reason-based logic. In this sense, uncertainty can be seen as a means of developing self-trust and a personal decision-making process grounded in genuine exploration that is detached from aversion to shame, doubt, and judgment. Such a logical logic promotes both the recognition that people may judge you unfavorably for making seemingly nonsensical or unreasonable decisions, and the resolution of that fear surrounding those hypothetical negative assessments from others. At face value, the illogical logic of uncertainty appears idealistic, but it must be recognized that such a commitment to deviance is an act of vulnerability that is practiced throughout life and never holds the expectation for perfection or mastery. The inclination to reflect on our deeper internal intentions and goals when making a decision, rather than turning to the logic of social proof, will most likely leave you feeling more satisfied and content with your decisions. Ultimately, by welcoming uncertainty, you are making a choice to no longer seek fulfillment and gratification from external sources. Rather, you are listening to yourself, slowly building up your sense of self-trust and the recognition that you are efficacious, knowledgeable, and capable. And so, with all of this logic and uncertainty rumbling around in your minds, I would like to tie all of this back to Mr. Rogers and the importance of feeling valued and loved. Mr. Rogers and the logic of uncertainty uplifts all of the worthwhile and complicated parts of being alive and taking an active role in your life. Living with uncertainty allows us to take risks and explore meaningful, purposeful endeavors that will better our understanding of others, enhance our compassion and mindful listening abilities, and seek to change many of the problems and injustices we witness locally and globally. Trying to suppress our feelings of fear and uncertainty, as logical thinking has trained us to do, makes us numb to all that is important around us. It is further important to note that suppressing difficult and large emotions doesn't make them go away. They merely arise later with much more force and gravity. When these emotions inevitably resurface, they function as a catalyst for change and remind us that we need to adjust and reconsider what we are doing and why we are doing it. We should also remember that Mr. Rogers would never tell us to suppress our emotions. Rather, he would tell us to feel them, talk about them, and experience them. So to conclude, I would like to say that I know with the utmost certainty, very bold claim, that everyone gathered in this space before me is an important and valuable person, worthy of self-trust and the recognition that you are an intelligent and capable individual. Furthermore, while embracing mushy sentimentality, I want you to know that I think you are special, that you should trust yourself and your intuition, and that I like you exactly as you are. Thank you.
Mansions above, in bright mansions above, Lord, I want to live up yonder, in bright mansions above. In bright mansions above,
And now may you be blessed in the knowledge that you are liked, you are loved, you are beloved of God. Go in peace, live with trust. Thanks be to God.